I'm Dave Abrams.
And I'm Kristin Lagana. Welcome to Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll tell you how to volunteer to help respond to hurricanes and visit the Emergency Operations Center to find out how they are preparing. But first, making headlines this week. The county has taken a major shot against the opioid crisis, announcing a major lawsuit against drug manufacturers and pill mill doctors. County Executive Steve Shue announced that the county has retained the law firm of Motley Rice, a firm with 90 lawyers that has secured landmark outcomes and monumental settlements in some of the biggest fraud litigations for 3 decades. Shue said the goal was to stop the drug epidemic at the source.
I'm announcing that Arundel County intends to file a civil action against opioid manufacturers, distributors, and our county's pill mill doctors, whose marketing and prescribing practices helped ignite and have radically amplified this crisis in Maryland and here in Anne Arundel County. Those who have had a hand in this epidemic must be held accountable.
Speaking of the heroin crisis, this morning we held our 5th Not My Child Q&A on Facebook with Police Chief Tim Altamari and Crisis Response System Director Jen Corbin. If you missed it, don't worry. You can just go to our Facebook page now and watch the archived footage. Thanks to all of our experts who have participated in our Facebook Live series. I really think that this has helped a lot of people, Dave.
Absolutely. And if we could just go back to the idea of suing the pharmaceutical companies, how about the visual of 90 attorneys coming at you?
Oh my gosh.
90 lawyers.
90.
That's a lot of lawyers. Now, I'm sure that the big pharma, they have a lot of lawyers too.
Yeah.
But 90's good. That's about, I think that's
Plus,
about...
that's a pretty impressive record.
Yeah, they definitely know what they're doing, and I think that's like about 3 times the size of the county's Office of Law. And we should probably mention that they're working on retainer, so it's not like we're going to run up these, huge bills for attorneys.
I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah. So at least you have people out there who are very experienced and can get the job done. So good luck to them, and I hope they're successful, because it's expensive to handle this, and we're doing everything we can, but more resources means you can do more with it. So.
And once again, working on retainer.
Working on retainer.
Yes.
Only get paid if they win.
Yes.
Well, time is running out to apply if you want to become an Anne Arundel County police officer, Kristin.
Woo! Do it.
If you're thinking about submitting an application, do it now.
Do it.
The application period opened August 23rd and has had a huge response from the public. Now, applying is easy. Just go to aacounty.org/police right now. You can also contact a recruiter at 410-222-8672. Now, take a look at this promo from Arundel TV about recruitment in the police department.
I just always wanted to be an officer, always liked helping people. Nobody ever gave me a hard time for being a female, making me feel as if I wasn't good enough to be out there with them. All the stereotypes that you hear are not true, not when you get out there. I would encourage more women to join because we need more out there. We are needed a lot. I'm Ashley Carpenter. I'm a patrol officer with the Anne Arundel County Police Department.
So again, the deadline to apply is September 11th, Kristin. So get your act together and apply today. We need heroes out there to help us.
Apply
right?
today. Don't delay.
Ooh.
It's a rhyme.
Wow. You just made that up just now.
I feel like that.
Amazing.
That's why they pay me the no bucks.
Whew.
Yeah.
Right. I got what you said there.
Yeah.
Someday we'll pay you.
Someday.
Someday.
Now, Dave, I have a question for you. Do you golf?
So, no.
Okay.
I've been to Topgolf. You ever been to Topgolf?
I have not.
It's like a giant skee ball game, except you're playing with actual golf clubs. You're hitting the ball out there, and they
have
bring
holes
you
set up
food
like
and
skee ball?
drinks and music. And
But do they have holes set up like skee ball? So
it
100,
looks like
500?
a giant, yeah, you get
that's
points.
cool.
It's fun.
Very cool.
It's in Norfolk, Virginia, so you're
Norfolk.
going to have to travel a little bit if you want to try it.
Well, I am not very skilled at golf either, but now's the time to start. On September 22nd, the Recreation Needs for Special Needs group will host the 4th annual Joshua Roach Memorial Golf Tournament at Compass Point Golf Course in Pasadena. Registration begins at 7:30 a.m. and the shotgun start is at 9 a.m. The cost is $100 per player and $400 per foursome. That includes 18 holes of golf, lunch, unlimited beverages, and prizes. Ooh,
Snacks.
we might want to join in. This is for a great cause. The money will go towards improving the well-being and quality of life by providing recreational opportunities for those with disabilities or financial difficulties. What better reason to tee off than that?
Seriously, maybe we should try it.
We should try it.
You
Snacks?
think? There are snacks, so I
Good
like
deeds?
snacks. It's a good cause.
Unlimited beverages?
Have you ever just tried to?
You just skate right over that
Have you
one.
ever just tried to hit a golf ball
Yes,
and
I've gone
failed
to a,
miserably?
Yes, I've gone to a driving range before. I think we got a Groupon, and it was for a batting cage and a driving range.
Mm-hmm.
I kicked butt at the batting cage.
Oh,
Kicked butt.
kicked butt.
But at the golf
No.
range, not so much.
Not so
Not
much.
so much.
Did you hit the ball?
I did.
Okay.
I
good.
hit the what's the term? Caddy? No. What's
Don't
the little
hit the
guy?
caddy.
What's the little guy in the golf cart out there collecting all the balls?
Oh.
Is that? I don't know if he has.
It's like the
name.
bat boy, but the
The ball guy.
He's not a caddy.
I hit his
You
vehicle.
did?
I was like, is that 1,000
and
points?
And you laughed, didn't you? You thought it was
to
really
myself.
funny, didn't you, to hit the
I think I went, ooh.
like like Caddyshack.
Yeah, exactly.
What about miniature golf? I bet you're good at that.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. I
can
like
see.
the windmill at the end or any kind
Yes.
of similar obstacle where it's like a timed thing where you got to shoot it through the hole. I do like that. I would say probably my favorite is the pirate one if we're going for themes,
Yes.
and also the ice mountain. What about you?
I'm surprised that you're that knowledgeable about
Oh.
it. I hadn't thought about all the different ones, but I do think that the
The
ones
dinosaur ones are fun too.
dinosaur ones. I mean, any theme, as long as it goes down a tube and you don't really know where it went,
That's
and then
true.
you got to figure out what happened.
I know.
That's my
yeah,
favorite ones.
yeah.
The old Eric Roby quote. What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
All right, what was Eric's thing? What is that? Or was that
Oh,
anything technology with Eric Roby?
We were
What is
talking
that?
about having the what's the cloud? Where can I?
Right. Where is the cloud? I can't find it.
I can't find. Is this where you sell clouds?
But we digress.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to
Hey,
take
Eric.
a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Bruce Morganstern about the community emergency response teams. Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we will be right back.
You made this vacation happen, cleverly merging promotions
Double points with every purchase?
and cross-referencing travel sites. Aloha! If you can ace your vacation, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have Mr. Bruce Morganstern, who is the Vice President and Membership Chair for CERT. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much.
How you
Appreciate
doing
it.
today?
Just great, thank you.
Good. So CERT, let's start off with that. What's CERT stand for?
Okay, CERT is the Community Emergency Response Team.
All right.
And we're a volunteer organization that teaches emergency preparedness and response to community members.
Very good.
We have a basic CERT class that is a 20-hour class that teaches emergency preparedness. It teaches basic first aid, light search and rescue, small fire suppression. We also teach about how to be organized during a disaster, a little bit about psychology of a disaster, and we even touch on terrorism.
Well, unfortunately, it's a very timely topic to have you here right now because of Harvey and Irma. So I can imagine that there's been a lot of buzz and interest about CERT classes, but you're already full for this fall semester, right?
Absolutely, it's great. I mean, I'm sorry to say that we're full because
Right.
I'd like to encourage others to take this class. But we will have another one in the spring.
Very good.
But we are full now, and we're looking forward to a very successful class.
And how many CERT volunteers do you have?
We have 80 members at the present time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that large. And your classes, your courses, you're teaching over where? At Millersville?
We teach at the Fire Training Academy in Millersville.
Okay.
We're very fortunate. The fire department is a great partner with us, and we really appreciate using their facilities.
It's a nice facility too.
It is.
And you work with high school students there?
Absolutely. In addition, the courses we were mentioning are for adults, but last year we taught a class at Glen Burnie High School, which was very successful. And this year we're not only going to repeat it at Glen Burnie, but we're also going to be teaching at Meade High School in the spring.
Awesome. I imagine that the kids are very interested in this subject, especially as we mentioned before, because of what we've been experiencing in our nation currently with Texas and Florida and the Gulf. What kinds of things, how do you get the kids how do you talk on their level, get them into emergency response? What are you doing
Well, actually, the schools that we picked, we picked them on purpose.
Okay.
The signature program at Glen Burnie High School is public service, and the signature program at Meade High School is Homeland Security. And both of them have an emergency management and a response component to their classes.
Okay, we didn't have that when I was in high school.
No, me either.
No.
Well,
All we have is home economics.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's what's incredible about the signature programs in each of the high schools in the county, is they have these theme topics that are of tremendous interest and of practical value to students.
Excellent.
Well, whenever a major disaster occurs, people always want to help. And sometimes that can be constructive and sometimes that can be not the right idea. What kind of advice do you give people, let's say they want to help out with the response to Harvey or Irma? What should they do? Should they get in their car and drive down there, or
The response is please don't.
Right.
The best thing that somebody can do right now is donate money. And obviously donate to a reputable organization like the American Red Cross, and of course there's many out there that are doing wonderful things in terms of disaster response and relief. And there's a lot of good intentioned people right now that are collecting items to be delivered down there. The recommendation from National VOAD, which is Volunteer Organizations Active in Disasters, is have a yard sale. Sell them, take the money, and donate it. And the reason is that logistically, they can't handle items that are sent down there. They're in the middle of an emergency response. And also, what they can do with the money is that they can buy goods and materials down there in Texas to the local economy, which helps promote jobs and helps promote recovery.
So let's say Irma were to take a right turn and come up to Anne Arundel County and we had significant damage around the area. What do you do with your 80 volunteers at that point? What do you tell them to do? How do you mobilize them? What do they do?
Well, this is something that's really important. We operate under the auspices of the Anne Arundel County Office of Emergency Management.
Oh, so you come to the Emergency Operations Center.
What we do is we don't activate unless they determine that it's a large-scale enough emergency that they need our help.
I see.
And if that's the case, then we'll be deployed to an area that needs us and provide services. The challenge with a large-scale disaster is that we only have about 800 police officers and about an equivalent number of firefighters. That sounds like a lot until you realize that there's 500,000 citizens in Anne Arundel County, and of course just look at the size of the county itself. So CERT teams would get deployed to areas where perhaps first responders couldn't immediately get there for whatever reasons.
Bruce, how long have you been with CERT?
I've actually only been there for about 2 years, but
Okay.
It's an exciting organization to be a part of, and I'm retired, so I have time to learn and continue training and.
You're not old enough to be retired.
Yes, I seriously am. Thank you.
And how long has CERT been around?
Well, CERT, first of all, CERT is a national organization. CERT was formed in the 1980s. What happened was that there was a very large earthquake in Mexico. It required thousands of people to help support it, and unfortunately many of them died volunteering to support. And a lot of people looked at that and said, you know, volunteers are great, but what we really need are trained volunteers.
Yeah, the training.
So CERT actually began in Southern California. They looked at what happened in Mexico and other places of the world. They formed CERT. Other communities saw that it was a good idea. And sometime in the 90s, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, took over, standardized all the training, and there are now CERT organizations in most counties in the United States.
So the Anne Arundel County chapter is fairly new.
We've been around, I believe, about 12, 13 years.
And have we ever been activated before?
We actually have not been activated. That's a good thing. That means that, that there hasn't been a disaster of the scale of a Katrina or a Harvey, and we hope it's not going to be an Irma. But you know, there's many things that we do in the meantime. First of all, we continue to train. because
Right.
there's so much that we can learn, and of course you need reinforcement on the training that you already have. But when we're not training or we're not teaching, we also help out the community. So we're parade marshals for the city of Annapolis. We do traffic management at large events like the Emergency Preparedness Expo that's coming up at Marley Station on September 23rd.
Great event.
Shout out.
Everyone should go to.
Yes, we'll be there.
We're also going to be at the drive-through flu clinic in Annapolis on September 30th, again as traffic management.
Is that the Navy
So,
Stadium again?
Yep.
At the Naval Academy Stadium.
You were out last week. We covered it last week.
Oh, yeah.
I was out too.
Yeah. No, it's a tremendous event, and while it's wonderful that they're giving out free I can say that, free flu vaccines, what you're really seeing is an exercise for a pandemic.
Right.
So this is exercising the Department of Health and local first responders to what would happen if we needed to respond to a pandemic. And that's another thing that CERT does, is CERT also helps in the planning and execution of exercises, mostly by providing volunteers, but also sometimes having a role in the actual exercise.
Also, if I want to find out more, how do I do it?
Best way is go to our website. It's AAACERT.org. That's AAACERT.org, or you can go to our Facebook page.
Very good.
And we'd be happy to talk to you. Just hit the Contact Us button, and you'll get a personal response right from me.
Great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for all you're doing for the county. Thanks for coming out on the show today.
Absolutely.
Folks out
My
there,
pleasure.
if your ears are perked, if you want to learn more about what CERT's all about, and if you're interested in an upcoming class, make sure you visit the website or go on the Facebook page. We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Welcome back. We have even more about preparing for an emergency. A theme, Dave. On
Love
today's
having a
show.
theme,
We
right?
Love a theme. Michelle Corkadel talked with Jim Crumple, Public Outreach Coordinator, about how to prepare a kit at home. Michelle?
I'm here with Jim at the Emergency Management Operations Center in Anne Arundel County, where he's going to share some tips with us on how to make sure that we are prepared in the event of a storm. Thanks for joining me, Jim.
Well, thank you, Michelle. You know, preparing for a hurricane is essentially the same as preparing for any other major disaster. We ask you to plan for 3 days of what a lot of people call hunkering down. Hunkering down, another word for it is sheltering in place.
So tell me, Jim, we need to make sure that all the family members are involved and that we consider everyone. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. Emergency management and preparedness especially is a family affair. In fact, it's a whole of community affair. So even the children participate in it.
And if people want to learn more information or maybe have a more intimate, detailed conversation about how they can, as a community, be prepared, will they have an opportunity to interface with you at any moment in time?
Actually, we can do better than that. On the 23rd of September at Marley Station Mall in Glen Burnie, from 10 to 2 o'clock, that's a Saturday, we have a family-free event that's open to the public, and it's basically showcasing all of the county's emergency management capabilities. So the families will be able to talk to the experts. We'll have things for the kids to do. In fact, they'll be able to look and climb all over some of the equipment. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but more importantly, a really good way to better prepare the community for emergencies.
Well, that sounds like fun for all in the family and an interactive way to really understand what we need to do to be prepared. And so why don't you share with us, we have sitting in front of us a host of typical items that you would find in any household or could easily obtain in any grocery or pharmacy store. Why don't you explain to us how we can plan on being prepared?
Most people don't know it, but they're already prepared. So if you look at some of the things I show on the table here, most of them are things you have around your home now. It's just that most people don't think to put those together before the storm. And we want to make sure they do it today so they don't have to scramble to do it before a storm. So we have some very simple things. The first is water. Water's the heaviest thing we have. And enough, again, we're looking for 3 days. And if you have 48 of these, or the larger common size, 24 of them, or a case, you have enough for 3 days for one person. So that's enough here for 3 days. Multiply it times the number of family members you have. It's that simple.
Now, what about Fido, Jim?
Well, Fido needs his basic identification. He needs a dog collar. He needs the basic equipment that goes with him. It's good to have a picture of your pet with your name and contact information on the back. So if for some reason you're separated, they can reunite you.
That sounds wonderful. So why don't you go over with us? I believe there's a standard that once people learn, it's very easy to remember and easy to apply for you and your house or business.
Sure. Actually, there are 4 steps to family preparedness, and they're very easy. The first is make a plan. So what we ask you to do is have a safe family meeting place that if your kids are in school or you're at work and you can't get back home, where could you meet? So it could be a friend's house, for example. Plan on how and where you may evacuate if that's called for. So are you evacuating out of the area? Can you go to a friend's house? Plan for your children, family members, and special needs members of the family, plus, as we said already, the pets. The second thing we do is get a kit, and we've shown you some of the things that go into a kit, basic things around the house, and then stay informed. Stay in contact with your family and friends. Don't be surprised, so turn into TV and radio and social media. Now, we'll have an emergency alert message broadcast on media that will basically tell people to turn in TV or radio for more further instructions. And then keep a battery-powered radio like this on hand. Now, this one happens to be a crank that doesn't need batteries, but a simple radio with an AM or FM is all you need. You don't need a fancy weather radio.
And this also will recharge your cell phone, correct?
Correct.
In those coming weeks? Because as we know, especially with hurricanes, you could have a very long duration of needing to take care of yourself, correct?
Well, we plan on 3 days per person until we can get into your area, whether it's a snowstorm or a hurricane. But if people plan for longer than that, the longer the better. You can't over-prepare. And the final thing we ask, the 4th step, is get involved. So attend our emergency preparedness presentation, the expo that we've got on the 23rd. It'll be an excellent opportunity to actually talk to first responders and see their equipment. Visit our office at the Office of Emergency Management at www.aacounty.org/OEM, and then take a basic first aid course or CPR course so you yourself are prepared. And finally, FEMA has a site, very easy to remember, ready.gov, that has all of this information on it, as does our own county website.
Okay, Jim. And so let me ask you something. Our area in particular, we're very prone to flood. Is there anything outside of the basics that people can consider having around that may not be that basic go kit, but would be really handy to have living in our area?
Well, the first thing you do is think about evacuating from a flood zone. But before you get there, be sure you know if your area is flood prone, and you might want to consider buying flood insurance, and that's available through FEMA, through the government. Again, evacuation, be prepared for that. If you have boats, then you need to adhere to whatever your marina's guidance is on storms. If you do get the boats out, get them out very early before the weather comes in, so you have plenty of time to come back.
And sheltering in is something that people may hear. What does that mean to the resident?
We call it shelter in place. I mentioned before, a lot of people call it hunkering down. It simply means to stay in the safety of your own home, because you know your own home, you know the equipment you have there, and you'll be able to see and oversee your family members and neighbors.
And lastly, just a little tip on those floods and roads. People sometimes make that last-minute decision. They think they want to hunker down, and then they're in the middle of the storm, and now they just want to get out. Is there any tips on safe road patterns and driving behaviors that you want people to observe?
Sure, it's very easy. The phrase we use is turn around, don't drown. So if you're coming to an area that has a lot of high water, and a lot of people have seen this, unfortunately, with Hurricane Harvey, and a lot of people, unfortunately, drowned through that. If you think you're going to be in swift water, simply back up and go another direction. That's common sense. Follow the direction of any emergency responders that are out there, police and fire that may be guiding you. It's really that simple. Common sense. All of this is common sense.
So once again, where are we going to find you and your team on Saturday, September the 23rd?
So we will be at Marley Station Mall on Saturday, September 23rd from 10 to 2, and you can't miss it. We'll be in the main parking lot right in front of the main mall entrance, and we'll have 40 different organizations out there, so you cannot miss it.
Wonderful. And then I have one last quick tip for our residents out there, and that's Code RED. Could you share with us, I do this all the time when I go out and talk to communities, how can you make sure that you get that reverse 911 call when you need important instructions, particularly if you no longer have a landline?
So again, Code RED is 2 parts. The first part is essentially a reverse 911. So the county has the ability to send out emergency messages to landline telephones that are registered with the phone companies. So that's one step. The second step, if you come to our expo or go to our website, we have a link that you can get on Code RED, and that will send messages to your smartphone or to text messages or email, so essentially it'll follow you everywhere you go. Just follow the instructions in the web link. It's free and it's very easy to use.
Sounds great. I'm going to definitely download that myself. Thank you so much for joining me, Jim. Back to you.
Thanks, Michelle. There you go, Dave. No excuses.
No excuses. Now we have no choice but to be prepared.
Be prepared.
Get your water now.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
So Kristin, I thought this would be a good time. You know, everybody's doing their fantasy football leagues.
I do not want to talk about fantasy football, Dave.
Mine
I
is
had a bad experience.
Well, you do know I was the champion of my league last year.
Congrats.
Right?
We came in third.
Okay,
Wheel and I.
Oh, we're
on a team.
Wilston? What is it?
Team Wilston.
Wilston?
Came in third
So
last year.
it's Will and Kristin Wilston.
That's right.
Okay,
Wilston.
so you came in third last year.
Yes.
And so do you have like a GM and an owner? Is that how you do it? Like, how do you do a tag team? Because I do it all by myself.
No, I mean, really, he's the one that just runs it. When it comes to picking, he lets me grab a few picks.
Okay, so what did you do? Did you do well? How did you do?
I thought that we did fairly well, but I was a little upset because Will let my boyfriend go.
You're wearing Ravens colors, so be careful.
I know.
Your boyfriend, who's that?
Justin Tucker.
He's on my team.
Thank you.
He's been on my team for like 10 years.
That's how you do it, Will.
Yeah,
Okay,
Will. I got Justin Tucker right here.
They all made fun of me last year because Will let me pick round 3, and I picked a kicker. I picked Justin Tucker. And they're like, who picks a kicker the third round? I was like,
you didn't,
I wanted to
Kristin.
make sure we got him. And we got him. Well,
Wow.
this year, it was the team that was picking right before us, and they grabbed Justin Tucker.
Don't you understand? You came in third last year because you picked a kicker in the third round.
It's not why. But whatever.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
Who's your quarterback? Who's your quarterback?
I don't even remember, Dave. I don't remember.
It's not Joe Flacco?
It was one of those fantasy football parties that got a little, you know.
Oh, a little
I don't remember
fuzzy?
what we did.
Fuzzy?
Yeah, a little fuzzy. So I will tell you that after the important picks were over, then Will let me pick like some wide receivers and running backs when it really didn't matter anymore.
Who you don't know
So
who any of them
Gina,
are.
my friend Gina, and I are looking up. We were looking up at the online on Google, and we're like, "Who's cute? We'll put them on our team." Really, let's talk about what's really important here, and that's that you can join the Dancing with the Stars Fantasy League this season.
Oh my gosh, I have to do that.
Way more important than your fantasy football.
What is that?
Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, so it's like a pool?
Yeah.
You pick the winners?
Yeah.
Who's in Dancing with the Stars this year?
Well, there's a lot of people that they were talking to Spicy. Did you hear about that?
What?
Sean Spicer, but he's not doing it.
Oh, I thought you meant Spice Spice Girls.
No, not the Spice Girls.
Oh, okay.
I do know that one of the Property Brothers is on it for this season. I haven't heard much more about what other contestants are on, but that's pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Speaking of reality TV, there were American Idol auditions in Annapolis this week. So
And again, you boycotted.
well, it's not even that a boy. Everyone kept saying, "Aren't you going to audition? It's right here. You have to be under 28 people."
Aren't
and
you
I
under
appreciate
28?
that, but no, I'm not.
You know what? It
I'm
wouldn't be
old.
fair. It wouldn't be
I'm
fair to
old.
have you there because you would embarrass all those people.
But I was so upset. I was like, now this year you have it in Annapolis? That's like my backyard. So I'm wondering if I have any peers, any friends that went out and auditioned that I know through
All right,
music.
people get online now. Vote for Kristin Lagana. They're going to say, Kristin who? They're going to say Kristin Lagana. Kristin Lagana, you demand Kristin Lagana on American Idol. She needs a waiver.
Raise
She's
your age
only
limit.
slightly over 28,
Just
so it's
slightly.
really not even that big a
Like
deal.
29.
Like your birthday is in December and
I'm
the
a
cutoff
late
was
birthday.
November. It's not that big a deal.
Exactly.
Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archive episodes online anytime on Facebook or YouTube by simply searching for Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time. Go Justin Tucker!
Woo!
Boom! No, he's on my team. He's not.
I'm cheering for your team now.